Hello everyone and welcome to Starnix. I'm Polster and let's continue with our URL shortener series. So in the last video we did up to this that we redirected a short link to its original URL. Now today we will be creating a front end for this application, and we will be integrating it with the backend. And also the thing that we left last time, that to check whether a short ID maps to any valid URL or not. If not, then we will return uh, the appropriate error message. Let's do that. So for the front end, we will use a template engine called EJS. Now what is a template engine? Let's say I will show, okay, let me just show you just tell you theoretically that a template engine actually takes some value from the code and replaces it in the HTML at runtime. Just think it like that. So basically what we are doing here is, there is an HTML code that I have already prepared. I'm not going too much into the designing part here, but I will just show you. We are using let me see what was its name. So yeah, it was index.ejs. Yeah, this is the file. So this is a basic HTML template, but what's different here is this part. This part is actually a part of this syntax you are seeing here. Is actually a part of the EJS template engine, that if this URL is present, SURL variable is present in a local storage, so this part is replaced here. So what basically happening here is that, let me just show you, then you will understand it better. It was index.js, yes. So in the front end part, what we will be doing is, we will listen on our root, on the server's root, for any incoming request, and whoever requests our domain or our URL, they will just see the index page, index.ejs page. Now what's happening here is that EJS is a templating engine that will handle the front end for us. As I had said earlier, that we will be mainly focusing on the back end part. The front end part, if you want to know more about the front end part, we can have a separate video covering only the front end part, how everything is coming together. If you want, you can comment down in the video and I will explain that later. But for now, just understand, we will need what I was doing. Yeah, we will need a dependency called EJS. EJS is a templating engine that renders dynamic contents on the HTML on a given HTML file. So let's use EJS. I'll install EJS here. Okay, it's when it's installing, let's continue with our work on the main file. So here we have to specify to express that we will be using our view engine to render the templates as EJS, and the place where to find our views is, okay, for that we need another package called path. This is a default package, I guess. So in this what path will do, path will help us point to a path in our file structure. So in path.resolve dot means current directory. Now we are rendering this EJS page. EJS is installed. Let's start our server first. Anyway, just 10 p.m. run start. Okay, sorry, there should be a comma here. My bad. It should be a comma here, and it is request. So it doesn't matter here, but you should always follow some conventions. Okay, the server is running. Let's test on localhost. For the first time, maybe we are using a browser to properly test something in this application. 3000. Yeah, as you can see, the front end is being rendered here, and it is an EJS page. The name is Cutlo, a free service by Starnix Cloud, as you already know. You can visit this site as well. It's live now. By the time the video will be published, the site is live and you can use it. Yeah, so basically what's happening here is this is a box where you can write your long URL, and if you click this shorten button, it will generate the short URL now. But this won't work right now, as the backend for the shortening part is not ready. It's ready for the terminal counterpart, but not for the front end part. And this is some normal thing you can, made by, this is just a footer. And if you want to contact me, you can mail me in this email address, polster@starnix.in, and that's the main basis of it. So what's happening here, we are currently just rendering the HTML. Now if I want to short some link, let's say the main link of this shortener, cutlo.starnix.in, and if I click shorten, this will give an error, because if you see in the main EJS folder, EJS file index.ejs, you will know that it's a form, basically an input. This input is the URL that is being means given by the user, and this is the submit button that is being handled, that is handling this form submission. But where the form is getting submitted, the form is using post method to submit on a route. The way I designed this application as such, because I didn't want to use a separate route for uh, this form submission. I had to use post route, so I used the route. I had to use a post method, so I use the route as it is, to one for the one as a get route to fetch the page, and one as a post route to shorten the link. So I will create the post route here for get, for route, sorry, request response. And as we had created here in this post route, that that actually shortens the link, as we had done here, which shortens the link, we will do the same work in this post route as well. So let's do it. I will just copy the code from here, because most of it will be same, some parts will be different, and let me paste it here. Okay, so okay, not maybe not everything was copied anyway. So in here we will not return JSON this time, but we will return another page, means the root page only. We will return the index page only, but with some data. And the way, as I said, that EJS renders dynamic content on the HTML, so the dynamic content has to be supplied also by the backend. So here we are supplying the dynamic content, and let's see what it is expecting. Sorry, I have to write it first. Okay, and the dynamic content it's expecting is locals.s URL. So it's expecting a key value pair named s URL, which is the short ID. But this time, and from here on, we will not pass only the short ID, but we will just format it so that the user gets the complete string. So for this we will use http//plus. As I had said, request contains a lot of information, so from that information's headers we will take the host. We took the host. Now we will concat the short we have to use a slash and concat the short id with it. You will see what this results to once we run the application. And I will just do the same thing here as well for the terminal counterpart, and you'll know why I'm using https and not http. Sorry, I'm using http only, so it's fine, don't worry. I will explain when to use https and when to use http. Headers dot host plus slash plus the short id. Okay, so for this demo, when you are developing it in the development stage, use http because you will be testing it on localhost, and localhost won't support any ssl. Means it may, but normally we don't use ssl for localhost. But when you will be deploying it, as we will be in maybe the next video only, if I can complete this whole thing here, I will show you just change the http to https, because in the deployed version, if I show you, this project is already deployed and you can use it right now. If I show you right now, if everything is right, okay, so this is the main page. Oh, sorry, my buy me a coffee is giving you the notification. Yeah, it's late right now. It's, as you can see, it's 2 in the morning and I'm recording this. So anyway, if here now, if you give any link, let's say this YouTube link I was testing, and click on shorten, okay, there may be some issue. Okay, yeah, it worked. There was some issue in the beginning. So in general URL shorteners, this is how the link is given, right? So when I'm writing request.header.host, this part is getting replaced by it. That is the host that is the host of this domain, cutlo.standings.in. Because if I hardcode this, it will not run on localhost. It depends on where you are deploying, means what is the name of your service. That's how you know that it's working, and it will work in future as well. So if I just copy this and paste it, well, I will not paste it here. I will attach this link in the description, or if I post this on LinkedIn on the caption section, you will see where this video leads to, and I believe it's a funny one. Anyway, so now you know why this request.headers.host we are using here. So if you know, we can proceed. Let's see if this works or not. Okay, we'll just close the server and rerun it. Yeah, I want to resubmit. Yes, now see, previously we had to append this localhost 3000 every time we were using this short id, but now we don't have to. And I don't remember which link I shortened, so I'll just go to it. I'm sorry, what's wrong here? Okay, so apparently the site crashed. Anyway, problems happen in the development stage. Okay, so it cannot find the value of URL. I guess this is because this shortened link have some problem. Let's see. Okay, now a little bit of SQL as well. Let's see what this shortened link is mapped to. These are some basic steps of a development. This comes. Okay, I have to select start from links where id equal to this thing, right? Let's see. The URL is null. Do you know? Did you see? There is some problem in this URL. That's why it came as null. Anyway, I will just shorten it again. Let's say Cutlo, and I will shorten it. Oh, sorry, the server is not running. My bad. Server was not running. And if I resend it, okay, first let me check another little bit of SQL lesson. Let's check if this thing points to something right. This thing again points to something null. Okay, so we got another issue that we have to fix here. Maybe another video will come for this, and I guess this will obviously redirect to us. Why is everything coming as null? Let me see. Okay, so I got the issue, what was happening. It was a very trivial issue, and I'm feeling so bad for missing it out. So basically, what was happening until now, we were sending JSON data here in this API version. In this part, we were sending JSON data, and we were expecting that the body will handle it. But when we are using that EJS file in our front end, when you are using EJS file in our front end, this form is actually getting submitted, and the data that is being sent is a URL encoded form data that is being sent there. So what was happening, that the backend was not able to parse that form data. It was able to parse the JSON data because we specified that it will be receiving JSON data, but it was not ready to parse the form data. So we just had to use another middleware here, that is app.use express.url encoded. As we had used JSON, we have to use just this, that it is a URL encoded data. We can also accept URL encoded data. Other than that, everything is fine. Let's now just run the server again. Now hello 3000. Let me just refresh it. Yeah, it's working. And let's say, okay, not this one, let's something else. Let's say Polestar. And if I shorten it, yes, I'm getting a short ID, and I hope this will work this time. And yeah, it redirected you to my portfolio page. You can see all my stats, my lead code, try Acme, GitHub, and all other things, the projects I did, and the services that I provide, and also my Standings Cloud as well. So yeah, this is my portfolio site. You can visit if you want. So we created the front end and integrated it with the backend in this video. So yeah, this is the end of creating Cutlo. And yeah, the one thing that I promised last time, that we will be also handling invalid short IDs. Let's handle that now. In the database folder, sorry, in the database file, this connection.query, wait, let me shorten, okay, redirect here. So in the data, as we know that from where we are getting the long URL, we are requesting the URL from the links table where ID is something something, and that value is coming in this data variable. And from data, it is an array. We are selecting the first child. If you are not understanding what I'm talking about, just go back one video and you will see we coded this, and I showed how this data is coming from the database, in what structure. So this data is an array where, and the first child is another array which contains a dictionary, that is a key value pair, where key is the URL, that is the column in the table, and the value is the value, the link that it is redirecting to. So here we are extracting the first child, that is giving an array. We are extracting the first child of that array, which is a dictionary, and we are pulling out the URL key from there. So when we know that that the given short ID is invalid, let me show you. Let me just console.log data here. And for now there will be some errors because we are testing it right now. Let me show you. If I run localhost 3000 and give some random gibberish and click enter, yeah, obviously it will not work. And what we can see here, the first ID is blank. That is the first array, that is this data 0. The length of this array is 0. That's how we can identify that if we are having a valid ID that is actually mapped to something or not. Let's do it. And also in the last time we saw that there is an option, or there is a possibility rather, that it can result to null. Well, that may not happen, so we are not covering that case, but if you want you can also run a check for null. Let's say if data of 0 dot length is strictly equal to 0, we can just return null. But we cannot leave it here, because in the end we are returning a URL. So if we are returning null, it will again result in that error. Redirect to null, it will redirect to nothing. So to handle this, we will again go to index, and in the redirect function, the place where it is redirecting, we will get this URL. Now if the URL is not equal to null, then only redirect to this URL. Otherwise, otherwise we will render. There is another page, that an error page that I have already created to save time here. There is this error page called error. If you want to see the error page, yeah, yes, here it is. Just a minute. Sorry. Oh, to overwrite this I have to first write the file written. And now if I open error, it will work. Let me turn off. Yeah. So this is the error page. It's a very basic HTML page, no dynamic content, nothing. This is just a basic HTML page, nothing else. Let's show it. So where was I yes, index.js. Yeah. So if the, okay, let's just change it, because I don't trust JavaScript. Triple equals to I trust, but I don't trust JavaScript. I don't know what type of stupid stuff it will do with these checks. So I will just render error if URL is null. Otherwise, I will just, what was that? I will just wait. Render error if it is null, or I will redirect it to URL. Now, moment of truth for this checking as well. Let's just rerun this gibberish here, and we are getting this page rendered. Unfortunately, the requested short ID does not point to any URL. Visit Cutlo to create your own shortened URL, and if you click here, you will obviously redirect it to our main page. So yeah, we also checked for null links, and everything is working fine as of now. If you find any bug or any problem in this project by creating, you can obviously comment down or reach out to me in my email address or in LinkedIn. I'll always be available. And let me see if something is if anything is remaining here. I don't think anything is remaining here as of now, so everything is done. And yeah, that's the end of creating this shortener. There may come one video where I will show how to host this, like I am doing, like I am showing you that cutlo.standings.in with your own domain. But that is an optional video. If you want that video, you comment down, I will create that. It requires a lot of thing. If you see here, I am hosting that service in my Raspberry Pi. It's running Docker. If you can see here, I have this folder where I'm hosting it. All the files are here, and the main magic is happening in this Docker compose file. And this is the file that is actually hosting the service, running all the commands, and connecting it with the network and everything to the domain and all that. Some magic stuff. And then there is my Nginx proxy manager that is also running here. Let's just log in, and that, yes, here is the service. If you can see, don't see these other things. You may visit them if you want to, but not everything will work. So this is running in Docker and port 3000, and that is the thing that we are accessing through this URL. Now, if you want to know how I set up all these things on my on my Raspberry Pi server, and how this Docker compose file is working, do let me know. If you want to see or want to learn about these, I will create separate videos of server management and Linux as well. So yeah, this is the end of this series. As I promised in the beginning, I did the whole thing from terminal and Vim only. I never used any fancy code editor. Yeah, so that's it. If you enjoyed, like, share, comment, whatever you know. Thank you.